I will never forget the day that several of the families who were starting South Bay together drove up into the hills to look over Silicon Valley, and realizing the 3.5 million people who live in this region, 95% of whom are apart from relationship with Jesus. And from this area emanates ideas and thoughts and technology that literally is changing the world, from companies like Facebook and Google, Apple, Yahoo, and the list goes on and on and on. And our heart's desire from the very beginning, before we ever started South Bay, was to be the kind of church that would impact our community with the love of Jesus, that would see this region transform with God's compassion, His kindness. We've said over and over and over again, a part of our vision is to be the kind of church that our community would hate the thought of our absence. From the very beginning, we saw this willingness to sacrifice and do whatever it takes in the people of South Bay Church. Very quickly after launching, we grew faster than we had anticipated and had to go from 1 to 2 services, and the people of South Bay sacrificed. There was this group of leaders, men and women, that would set up early in the morning at 6:30, load and unload large amounts of equipment and lighting, children's equipment in and out of trucks. We would put children in hallways and set up and tear down and sweep floors of the school and mop the bathrooms. And the people of South Bay did, again, whatever was necessary for the vision in order to reach more people so that more people could experience God's love. It was so true that the people of South Bay were all in with this vision to see Silicon Valley transformed and impacted. In the fall of 2010, we began to sense God leading us to look for a more permanent home for South Bay. And so we asked the people of South Bay to sacrifice financially for this vision. We called it the Forward Giving Initiative. And through this initiative, over 3 years, the people of South Bay gave close to $1 million for what is now our North San Jose campus. We signed a lease, we renovated the facility, and there were hundreds of our volunteers that put in dozens of hours to serve sacrificially around this vision of reaching more people with the message of Jesus. And now today, there are hundreds of lives, many of you whose story has been changed because of the Forward Giving Initiative. Later on, as we continued to grow and we were at 5 services, we sensed God leading us to start a second campus. And again, the people of South Bay stepped up from serving to giving to sacrificing around this vision of becoming a multi-site church that would reach not just North San Jose, but would reach all different parts of Silicon Valley. I think about the time that literally hundreds of volunteers from South Bay went out to Vinci Park Elementary to paint the walls and redo the teacher's lounge, just in a practical way to show our community that God is for them and Jesus actually loves and cares about their well-being. There are times where, like our multiple hunt events, where hundreds of you would lay out tens of thousands of Easter eggs on big fields at schools in our community as a way of showing love and compassion in a simple, practical way to the people of Silicon Valley. There are dozens of you who've gone on mission trips to places like Ethiopia and Nicaragua to see people who are living in poverty released from poverty in the name of Jesus. There are dozens and dozens of lives that have been changed. There are families literally that their lineage has been restored to Jesus, and marriages that were heading towards divorce that have been brought back together because of you, because of your investment, because of your sacrifice, because of your prayer. God has used you to start a church that is making a significant difference here in Silicon Valley. And I think about this, that if God in 5 to 6 years could do such miraculous things through our lives, what could God do in the future, in the next 30 to 40 years, as He finds a group of people that are willing to go all in to sacrifice for the sake of His vision? I think about our future. I think about my son, Cademan, and my son, Sammy, and daughter, Karis. I want to create the kind of church that is so embodying the love and compassion of Jesus that people in my children's generation are impacted, that my kids can take the torch of the message of Jesus and carry it so that it continues to spread throughout Silicon Valley. And I could not be more excited about the kind of church that God is building through His people. And I believe that as we all together as a group step up, as we sacrifice, as we put it all on the line, as we put all of our chips on the table and we go all in, there is no limit to what God can do through our lives together, that one day we can look up and we can see literally the entire Silicon Valley being impacted and transformed, and the Bay Area being changed with the message and love of Jesus in a way that doesn't just stay here, but in a way that emanates from here to the edges of planet Earth, so that people from all different countries and nations are being impacted and changed. So I want to just ask you if you will be willing again to go all in sacrificially with my family, with Stacy and I, as we look to the future. And I am so privileged and honored to be a part of this journey together with you. Now, the All In initiative is going to go towards 3 major projects for our future vision as a church. I want to talk to you about the first of those projects. If you've ever attended North San Jose, or you've been coming to South Bay for a while now, you'll know that we've continued to add more services on the North San Jose campus. And we've said many times before, the last thing we want to do is have a building restrict our ability to make a difference in our community. That a church is more than the 4 walls of a building, and we want to continue to create more space for your friends, for your family members, for your neighbors, as you're investing in the lives of people around you. The last thing we want to have happen is them come to a service and there's no seat for them. The first project that we plan to focus on with the All In initiative is the North San Jose campus. We have 2 things we want to do here. Number 1, we want to create a more inviting environment from when our guests pull onto our campus and in the lobby. Our goal is to help create more of an environment where people can connect and form community and build relationships, and even knowing that within the first few moments our guests are making decisions whether or not they'll come back, we want to remove every barrier that we can. Also, we plan to make significant upgrades to our children's ministry and our Bay Kids experience. And the second component of the North San Jose project is we are currently negotiating with the building owner to buy the property from him. As we come to the right purchase price and get city approvals, we'll be positioned in future years to not only make significant upgrades to the building, but potentially expand the size of our auditorium, maybe even to double what it is today. So our generosity through the All In initiative will allow us to have an even greater impact in San Jose and in the community surrounding our North San Jose campus. Now, I have confidence, as God has in the past, in the future, God is going to open up the right door for us. And we're praying and pushing towards this North San Jose to purchase and then in the future be able to expand. And there is just limitless potential in an accelerating real estate market in an area that continues to grow, potential for us to reach more people right there at the North San Jose campus with the message and love of Jesus.
The second project that the All In initiative is going to help fund is our Sunnyvale campus. This year, we've already seen God do even more than we anticipated at this campus. We're averaging around 400 people every single week. Our groups and our teams are healthy. There's life change happening every week here. So the Sunnyvale campus at the Sunnyvale Community Center is full of energy, and we can't wait to see what's going to happen in the coming year. So these resources will help us as we continue to look for larger spaces for us to meet as a campus. It'll help us also continue to deepen our impact and our ability to reach more people in this side of Silicon Valley. And then it'll also help us put resources aside in case a more permanent facility becomes available that we can move our campus into in the coming year. As you know, we already put 10% of our budget into initiatives outside of our walls as a church, what we call global and local outreach. But with the All In initiative, we're going to be able to take that to a whole nother level and deepen our impact together. Some of those funds are going to go toward starting a new church in Brazil in partnership with Compassion International. We've already seen Compassion at work. They're one of the most reputable organizations around the world that help release kids from poverty. So through that partnership, we're going to start a healthy local church in Brazil together. And then we're also going to be able to expand our impact with our current partners in Ethiopia and Nicaragua as they continue to educate the next generation, to release people from the cycles of poverty and impact their city together. We're also going to be able to start a brand new church in the Bay Area. As you know, as a church, we've already been involved in helping start a church in San Francisco, Epic Church, one in Oakland, it's called the Movement Church, in Palo Alto with C3 Church, and we're going to be able to do one additional church in the Bay Area this coming year as we continue to see the whole Bay transformed with the love of God. And then the last part of this is super exciting. It's our ability to impact local schools here around both of our campuses. Every year, we together as a church in both of our campuses, we choose a couple schools that we help beautify and renovate. And so this coming year, we're going to continue to expand our ability to influence these schools, to bless the teachers, the students, and the community, and make it a better place for people to live in.
Now, I want to share a story with you from David Dorflinger, who he and his wife Vivian have been a part of South Bay from the very beginning as they talk about how they plan to be involved with the All In initiative.
My wife and I were pregnant with our first son right around the time that we joined South Bay Church. And since then, we've had another boy and another girl. And all three of them just love coming to church every Sunday and learning about Jesus and also playing a little bit of video games while they're here also. I remember early on in South Bay's history, as a result of the generosity of the people there at the time, we were able to gather our money together and to actually buy some Christmas presents for some people that were financially struggling during that time. And we were even able to get enough money together to buy a used minivan for a lady that was attending our church, and her husband had recently passed away. And she was supporting 5 kids and really having a hard time. And the Sunday that we gave her the minivan, she was just so touched, and I've never seen a church been able to do that in the past, and I was just so blessed to be a part of that. So the Sunday that we were able to actually turn the keys over to her and she found out what the church had done through their generosity, she was in tears, and the whole church was in tears, and I felt so it was just an awesome feeling to be a part of that. As the church continued to grow, I kept getting new opportunities to give of myself in new and unique ways to grow along with the church. Originally, the worship pastor, Archie Jackson, threw me behind the soundboard, and I learned to do sound, and then I eventually became the setup and teardown coordinator at the school, making sure everything got set up and then put back in the truck when we were done for the day and put back in storage until the next week. Then as we moved into the new facility, it was just amazing to see the explosion of growth that new building provided for us so that we could reach more lives and reach more people. And then when we opened the Sunnyvale campus, I went with the startup team over there, and it was kind of the same drill over again. We had trucks and stuff to set up and tear down, and it was seeing God start over again in a new area and touch new people and change lives. And it's just exciting to see this whole movement multiply. So through all these different opportunities of serving and giving of myself, my time, as well as my monetary resources, I've had a thought, and it's dawned on me that the more I'm able to give of myself and what God has blessed me with, the closer I actually draw to the heart of God. My wife and I really consider South Bay Church our home now, and we look forward to seeing what God really has in store for us through our generosity and through our giving of our time and our resources that He's blessed us with. And I just know that as we as a church body go all in together, that we're going to see great things happening in the Silicon Valley going forward.
Our goal for the All In initiative is to raise $2.5 million. And that's a bold commitment for us as a church. It's going to take all of us sacrificing and doing our part. Now, the way that $2.5 million is going to break down, the first $2 million will go towards the North San Jose campus, both the upgrades that we plan to make and saving up for the down payment on the purchase of the building. The second $250,000 is going to go towards expansion and continued outreach with our Sunnyvale campus, potentially providing opportunity for a more permanent facility in that area. And then the $250,000 that remains will go towards our initiatives overseas, as Felipe has mentioned. Now, as we look towards our commitment, on November 16th, we're going to have a commitment day, and I'm going to ask you to be there that day at whatever campus that you typically attend. And on that day, we as leaders and as a church are going to bring a one-time gift as our initial investment in the All In initiative, and then make a commitment for the next 3 years what we plan to give above and beyond our regular giving. And I believe that as we each do our part, God is going to do limitless things through our lives. And I want to ask you between now and November 16th to begin to prayerfully consider how you and your family will be involved. Stacy and I, again, are looking forward to seeing God use our lives time and time again as we've sensed God leading us to continue to grow our generosity, to continue to sacrifice for His vision we've seen over and over again God provide for our family. We've experienced the joy of watching God use our lives to see people's lives forever transformed with the message and love of Jesus. And again, it brings us great joy together as a family to be able to do this once again. So I want to encourage you and thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for believing in this vision. And I have confidence that the Holy Spirit of God will lead you and guide you as you prayerfully consider how you are to be involved with the All In initiative. Now, if you have questions that remain, Sunday night, October 12th, at both of our campuses, we're going to be having an in-person vision briefing around the All In initiative with very similar content to what you've discovered and you've gone through today in your life group. If you still have questions that remain, we want to invite you to join us for that meeting. If you'd like to dialogue with myself or several of our staff members, we'll all be there, and your life group leader has more information about those meetings.